evening, everybody. It is Thursday night, or as I like to call it, Friday Eve here at Beyond the Airwaves, the Infinity Project. And tonight we're doing something a little different, and I'll explain that in a few minutes. So, anyway, like I said, this is Beyond the Airwaves, the Infinity Project, and it's Thursday. That means usually we're doing Secrets of the Unknown. However, the problem was last night we couldn't even do the show because my power was out. Damn you,
Thank you, Sally.
Sally! Damn you, Sally! And I was thinking I wouldn't get the power back till sometime today. I was so dead to the world asleep, I didn't know it'd come back on at 11 p.m. last night.
Surprise! Surprise!
Yeah, well, the giveaway was I was able to hear Mom's TV, and I was like, wait a minute, her TV's on? And see, that's
That
when
can
she told
only
me.
mean one thing.
Yeah, it's like, my power came back. Yay.
Yeah.
Of course, I had to fix all the clocks. But anyway, I'm your host for tonight. I am Oddball Extreme. I'm joined on the line by two of my crazy cohorts. First, we've got a resident Joker, Mike. Hello, Mike.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday.
Yes, it's
Sorry,
a.
I'm
What
I'm
day is it?
I'm I'm looking at Twitch, and for some reason I'm getting a black screen.
Oh, okay. Hmm, that's
It's saying that
interesting.
it's live, but I'm not. Let me refresh on my end.
Okay.
Troubleshooting on air. F
Oh,
it, we're doing
great.
it live.
Yep. That's right, folks. For troubleshooting on air. We also have our star child below me,
There it
Janet.
is.
Hello, Janet.
Hello. How are you tonight? I hope all the listeners.
Listeners.
Let's try that again. I hope all the listeners out there survived Sally fairly unscathed.
I guess this depends on where you are, because there was some serious damage down in Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, and Pensacola.
Oh, I think it was Goodlow that was in Pensacola,
Mm-hmm.
and he was standing. I think it was Goodlow. It
Paul
was the
Goodlow?
it was the black guy,
Yeah, Paul Goodlow.
Paul Goodlow. He was standing in water that was up past his knees,
I
and
believe
the
it.
wind was blowing like a son of a bitch.
I believe it.
And he pointed behind him, and it was hard to see, but because it was at night,
Mm-hmm.
but you could see that surf just pounding and pounding.
Mm-hmm. And let me put it this way: Hurricane Sally made landfall at 5 a.m. yesterday morning at Gulf Shores, and amazingly, yesterday was 16 years to the day and almost to the exact time of Hurricane Ivan.
You're kidding, really?
Nope, because you remember, Janet, I was visiting you when it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, is that the year you got air sick?
No, that was the following year.
Yeah.
Tell you that story
Well,
later.
I know your brother was concerned and called the house.
Yeah, he was concerned. I was concerned. I called him. He said, "Listen," he said half the city is out, no power. I was like, okay,
All right. So, but there was
yeah,
really nothing you could do if you worried.
mm-hmm. All right.
So, but
Well,
weather is fickle, and that's
that's
all
true.
I'm going to say.
Yeah. Well, anywho, anyway, for tonight, what we're doing is a little bit of a hybrid. We're gonna do like 30, half of the show's gonna be Secrets of the Unknown, and half of the show's gonna be like our Rant Rocket show. But we're probably gonna expand more on a couple of these topics like next week because there are some big ones like Cuties, the Netflix movie that's causing so much of a controversy.
Enlighten me on that one just a little bit, Shirley.
Let me put it this way: people are crying foul and canceling Netflix because it promotes child pornography.
Okay. Does it? Is it a movie that touches on child pornography and how the police are battling it?
Well, it's more like the director's take on it. But but she's against it. The problem is people are misconstruing it. Me, don't even have an interest.
I don't either. Just by the when you said cuties, I thought you were referring to the small oranges.
But
Nope.
Tish.
Well, there are oranges called cuties.
That is true. She's right. That is
I
actually
know.
true. All right. Well, anyway, we're going to go ahead and start with our Secrets of the Unknown. Tonight, we're going to cover the St. Vincent's Insane Asylum in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I had no time to get the Toonly to make this, so I just put this thing up. Due to the graphic nature of the contents for Secret of the Unknown tonight, viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Listen at your own discretion.
Yeah, because after all, Spirit Spotter Tim, who's unable to be here at the moment because he's got modem issues through no fault of his. Um, he left me all the links. I already put all of them into the chat, so there's a total of 4 links. So ready or
Okay.
not, here we go. All right, let's get to the picture-in-picture Chrome. Oh, and by the way, one more thing before we go on. Wilfred's coming this weekend.
Who's Wilfred?
It's gonna be probably a tropical storm out in the Gulf by the weekend.
It's going to fuck around with you, huh?
Not me, more like possibly going to Brownsville, Texas. But let's just put it this way: I did say, did anybody have the hurricanes going Greek by the end of September? That's gonna happen,
Uh huh. And it's hard to believe that there's only like 2.5 weeks left in the month of September.
and
A
there's
week and a
still
half or 2 weeks.
yeah, there's still October and November too.
Damn.
So this is gonna get busy. All right. So anyway, let's get started on here. The St. Vincent's Home or the Insane Asylum is located in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and it was built in 1945. It was abandoned in 1978, but some people are doing their best to preserve it as best they can. Anyway, this is the story from abandonedok.com. This is abandoned Oklahoma. Anyway, when we are looking for possible locations to add to our database, a lot of it comes from simply driving around the state and keeping our eyes open. St. Vincent's is one of those locations that we had no information on previous to our visit. After we documented the location, we began the research. What was different about this location was the fact that hardly any information could be found, which is part of the reason why we're only doing 30 minutes on this. We ended up searching the Oklahoman archives, and what we learned about St. Vincent's Homes was shocking to say the least. St. Vincent's Home was operated by the Brothers of Mercy and was built in 1945. The Nursing Order of Catholic Brothers moved to the present location and built the old section of the building in 1953. The addition was built using a grant from Hill Burton. No, I have no relation to this. St. Vincent's takes male patients only. In 1957, patients range from a 7-year-old boy to a 90-year-old man. The addition added several semi private rooms with connecting baths, a lounge on each floor, nurse stations, and a chapel. The home has had its share of tragic endings, and in 1962, a nurse brutally suffocated 2 patients simply for the thrill of it. But the charges were later dropped because the man had schizophrenia. In 1988, Reverend Richard Frank Dolan, who founded the Main Artery and Alcoholics Living Center at the location, was found murdered in his apartment. And in 1983, a man who lived at the home was shot and killed in Norman, Oklahoma. Reverend Richard Frank Dolan also holds an interesting past. He was arrested for soliciting prostitution in 1984 when he approached a male undercover officer for sex. He also was known to hire men to work for him at a flea market on 10th and Penn in Oklahoma City. He was also the center of controversy within the church for his involvement in multiple bingo halls in the city. Those were illegal. The investigation into his mysterious death led police to Colorado, where a friend of the priest confessed that this wasn't the first attack on Dolan. He had a history of attacks and confrontations. There was an arrest made in his murder, however, the suspect was released due to inconsistent evidence. To this day, his death remains unsolved. The building still stands today, but all the windows are gone and trash is everywhere.
You think the squatters could have moved in?
Who knows?
But what kind of ghost history do they have?
That is the question.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I may have found, yeah, I mean, it looks like I found something even better that might help a little bit. So, this is from onlyinyourstate.com. It's basically 13 staggering photos of an abandoned asylum hiding in Oklahoma. So, St. Vincent's Asylum in Oklahoma City has a long and dark history that is still lingering in the heartland. The old insane asylum has been sitting abandoned on Northeast 23rd Street for decades and has become a prime destination for ghost hunters and thrill seekers. The location is off limits for visitors, but we found some rare photos of this creepy place from abandoned Oklahoma. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if there's anything. Anyway, these are like the pictures. Now that one I remember, but let's see. All right. St. Vincent's Mental Asylum was operated by the Mothers of Mercy, a religious order providing care for the mentally ill. Starting in the 1960s, murders began to surface out of the asylum. First one, of course, was that nurse who suffocated two patients, but that didn't stop there. No. Okay, let's see. Frank Dolan, well, we do that. The facility only lasted until the 1980s when it was shut down. The property is now believed to be haunted by tortured souls of the past. The nursing order, let's see, the nursing order of Catholic Brothers moved to the present location and built the old section in 1953. Hallways now have graffiti all over them, and there is no flooring left but the original concrete slab. Let's see, old decor is laying around. Yeah, you see all these really. Let's see, many creepy things can be found lying on the floors, like this old doll that appears to be covered in wax from those candles. Or let's hope it's candle wax and not blood. Mm. Let's see. Many rooms have a cold and eerie feeling and look like they were used for solitary confinement. You wouldn't want to walk into this room in the dark. Let's see. Scrubs are still laying on the floor that appear to be blood-stained. Ew, yeesh. That would make me nervous. Let's see. Many reports have surfaced about creepy things happening in the building. Sounds of creaking, banging doors, and even recordings of ghostly noises have been documented. And let's see. The original alarm system is hanging on the wall with panic buttons.
Okay.
Yeah. See, like, there's staggering photos, a deeper look into danger and filth still sitting inside the abandoned. See, look at that
Um,
mess.
Ash is asking where is this at? She's in the chat room.
Oh, okay. It's the St. Vincent's Insane Asylum in Oklahoma City. Hey, I'll share those links with her just in case you didn't get them. Alright, but anyway, paranormal investigators firmly believe the asylum is in the grip of a demonic entity, one that drove the patients and staff to madness. Do not enter the asylum. It is located on private property, and the police will issue tickets to trespassers, which I can't fault them for.
Me neither.
Okay, let's see. Then we got story number 3 here. Yeah, let's just say, ghost hunters cause headaches for owner of former OKC insane asylum. So, this is a fairly quick article, too. A Metro man claims the notion of ghosts at a now abandoned former insane asylum is costing him thousands.
All right. All
Uh,
right. Good night.
Good
Sorry
night,
about
y'all.
that.
Night, y'all. Alright, no, I'm kidding.
Sorry about that.
It's
Alright,
all good.
Miller Bowie owns the St. Vincent's home at 3501 Northeast 23rd in Oklahoma City. The place has been abandoned for decades, but Bowie says ghost hunters have been breaking through boarded up windows to film their own adventures. Bowie says it started a couple years ago when the show Ghost Asylum visited St. Vincent's home and
You
others
say
started
ghost
visit
hunters?
Ghost Asylum.
Okay. All right. I couldn't quite understand what you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, visited St. Vincent's home and others started visiting as well. Bowie thinks he's boarded up the building 10 to 12 times and has racked up just over $3,000 in fines from the city. It's a major problem, explained Bowie, who says he can no longer afford to hire a security company to patrol the building. On Tuesday, now this is back in 2016, Bowie took his concerns to city council members to explain that he needs help keeping up with the break ins. He tells News 9 that he will try to get electricity to the place so he can put up lights to deter break ins. Eventually, Bowie hopes to turn the place into something positive for the community. I'd like to see it be a drug rehab for women.
Okay. Uh, that'd be one heck of a place for a rehab center, you
Yeah,
know?
if they can clean it up, if they can afford to
Hmm.
clean it up, then yeah.
But what's going to happen to the spirits already there?
Good question. Okay. This last one here is from abandoned, forgotten, and decayed.com. Haunted Abandoned St. Vincent's. Now, this is the writer who did this. I don't know exactly who it is, but anyway, this is in his words. I visited St. Vincent's in Oklahoma City. Yes, that's hard to read, but here, this might help. There. In Oklahoma City briefly in 2016. My employer's corporate office is in OKC, so I usually travel that way around Christmas time. The last couple of years, I started driving rather than flying so I could explore on the way home. And see, here's some pictures like that. Let's see. Let me do this so that'll be easier. There we go. Now we can read this a little bit better. Alright, built in 1945, the St. Vincent's Mental Asylum was originally ran by Religious Order Brothers of Mercy. We already know all that. So, let's see. The facility was an asylum, a rehab, and a nursing home at one time. Just like many hospitals, and not just for the mentally ill, I feel like they are often blamed for things just because were mentally ill people there, and most mentally ill people are non-violent, responsible people. Tragedy struck. Of course, the nurse suffocated two patients. She attempted to push another downstairs. Actually, it was a guy. It was a male nurse. Okay, the nurse turned herself in sometime later, which was the reason the murders were brought to the surface. Once the police obtained a lie detector test, they believed him and he was institutionalized himself.
Damn, that wasn't nice.
Yeah. Alright.
I wonder if it's. I wonder if his spirit is roaming that place.
Good question. You
Because
take a
I'm
look at.
sure that he is deceased by now.
Yeah, because if you see this building right here, the photo above was taken of the back of the building, which was the creepiest part.
Okay, can you put that in Facebook chat for me, Shirley?
It's.
Let,
Jana, I put the four links in the chat already.
okay, well, let me get back over there.
Looking for the last one abandoned, forgotten, decayed.
Okay, let me get over there. Okay,
Alright, so
sorry
anyway.
about that.
That's right. Well, anyway, priest Richard Frank Dolan ran the asylum, eventually turning it into an alcoholics living center, the main artery, which operated until the mid 1970s when it closed. Father Dolan's assignment from the church actually ended in 1969, but he continued his work with alcoholics without their support, as it was a personal cause for him. I believe he wanted to help those like him who felt they had no one else in the world to fight for them. Even after the main artery closed, he continued programs mostly funded by sales of his paintings. He was an artist who managed several art stores and donations. Let's see. There's more to this. Here we go. Father Dolan was rumored to hire men to work for him at a flea market on 10th and Penn. He was arrested for soliciting prostitution. Let's see. When he approached a male undercover officer for sex. In 83, another man who lived in the home was allegedly fatally wounded by a gunshot in Norman, Oklahoma. Okay, now here's what we don't know. If I can get this to work. Here we are. Father Dolan was beaten to death in his apartment, found after 2 days by the apartment manager and the maintenance man on November 30th, 1988. A friend of Dolan's from Colorado reported to police that Dolan had been previously confronted and attacked. Father Dolan's death is still unsolved. There is speculation of dark energy causing all of the tragedies surrounding the people associated with this place. As you can see, all these pictures here. Some of them are starting to
So
get
the second link, right?
the fourth link. The fourth link.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, you
Hi,
made
Tim.
it!
Hey, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Apologies to the viewers and listeners. I wasn't here to give my proper intro because technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yep,
But I
exactly.
am, but I am here now, and
Yeah,
I will continue to let our oddball extreme here continue to guide the course of the topic in my place tonight because I don't know that it's going to hold. We'll find out.
Well, he's on the fourth link in yeah, all overgrown with weeds
Yeah.
and graffiti.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you something.
And that really that should surprise nobody when you have an abandoned property like St. Vincent's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, people will go in, they will loot, they will take anything and everything they possibly can. I don't know how many aspects of the place have been talked about thus far and how many have not. Security at St. Vincent's, much like other places, can be quite difficult. If
Yeah,
you have
because
a
I
large property, people will find ways to get in. They
yeah,
will
Yeah.
because
make their own to get in.
I read that article about I didn't realize the Ghost Asylum guys had actually broken into the place.
Well, the Tennessee Rape Chasers probably had permission to get
Okay.
in there,
Mhm.
but generally speaking, and this is more so the case with St. Vincent's than with some of the other places that we've talked about in the past on Secrets of the Unknown, is they don't allow anybody to enter the premises.
Right.
Period.
Mhm.
If you are a thrill seeker and you decide you want to check this place out for yourself, I will tell you right now, you will be caught, you will be arrested, and you'll have
Mhm.
all kinds of troubles that are more important than any would be ghost sighting in this property.
Yeah.
So
And I'll
don't
tell you
do
sorry.
it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this right now,
I don't.
Tim.
I believe the current owner. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no. Go ahead. You finish yours first.
I believe the current owner is no longer permitting paranormal investigations of the property.
I believe that is
And
correct.
if you watch episode, I believe it's 4 of the first season of Ghost Asylum, where the Tennessee Race Chasers were out, and again, anytime it appears on programming like that, they're going to have permission
Okay.
or special permission or what have you. You'll see that literally the inside of this building is such a mess.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would want to go in there,
Yeah.
let alone think, hey, I'm going to go chase ghosts around in this building. And again, pardon my ignorance with how much of this has been discussed thus far, but it is said that St. Vincent's is so, how do I want to put this? The hauntings are so evil in that building. It's said to be in the grasp of a demon.
Mhm.
And when you consider Father Dolan's activities in there, the fact that you have nurses strangling patients seemingly just because they can, it should surprise nobody that this place is a hotbed for negative entities. And much to my surprise, and I don't remember the specifics of this because it's been a while since I watched the episode, the Tennessee Race Chasers did attempt to draw out the spirits and communicate with them. But one particular entity, and I think they were trying to contact the negative entity, which is believed to be a demon, and all they did was run away from them
Mm.
like a scared little girl. They tried, they tried different things, to draw out the positive energy because there are good spirits trapped in the property as well. It's not
mhm.
just a demon here.
Yeah.
And I use it, and note, I am using the term demon loosely here.
Right.
I don't
Maybe
know
it
that it
was the
is a.
good. Maybe it's the good trying to escape the evil.
I think that the good spirits within the property probably do want to get out of there,
Mhm.
and I think that, and this is just based on what I recall from watching Ghost Asylum, but I also think that this negative entity and possible demon is holding them back.
Mhm.
In short, it's trapping the good spirits inside the building.
Kind of like a ghost
So
trap, then, like kind of like the ghost traps in Ghostbusters. You can't get away from it.
nope. And with that information, I'm rather surprised that when the Tennessee Race Chasers investigated there, that this spear would just run away. That doesn't sound like something a
I'll be
demonic
right back.
entity would do.
Okay.
But when
Oh,
you consider the history of the property, the kind of activities that Father Dolan was involved in, the fact that he was murdered, you know, I'm not. It's kind of like flashing back to when we talked about the Amityville Horror back on Blog Talk Radio way back in the day. When I said that I didn't feel like the Amityville Horror house itself was necessarily haunted, but rather, well, it's haunted possibly, but not because of what we see in the Amityville Horror, but because of the leftover dark energy from Ronnie DeFeo killing his family.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is something very similar here, quite possibly. You know, with Father Dolan running the asylum, the kind of proclivities he availed himself of in going from, home to St. Vincent's, he could have brought a lot of that negative energy into the building, and that could have manifested itself as that dark entity. But it doesn't explain to me, and this is one of the leftover questions I have after watching the show. If this building is so evil and has a demon in it, or so it's said, who were the Tennessee Ray Chasers communicating with or attempting to communicate with?
That's a good
And
question.
if my memory is right that it's a negative entity, why did it turn and run away? Why didn't it try to drive them out of there?
Hmm.
But it's possible that it wasn't the negative entity, that maybe it was a former patient that just got scared off.
Yeah.
Because you remember when we do investigations and we try to communicate with the spirits, it really is a two-way thing. You
Right.
know, we might see them if they can manifest themselves enough, or we can see, that door closed on its own, or that object was levitated and transported across the room by something I can't see. But remember, they can also see us,
Mm-hmm. That's true.
and maybe whoever they were talking to saw them, got scared by something, and just took off.
Yeah.
You know, we have to remember these spirits are what's left of people that were once alive, while those that were formerly human, that is. So maybe they weren't talking to the supposed demon in the property. Maybe they were talking to a patient that just felt uncomfortable talking with them and said, I'm just going to hightail it on out of here.
Mm-hmm.
probably the person was real shy in life,
Could
and it
be.
stayed that way in death.
Yeah. But the writer of this article in the abandoned forgotten decade.com said, I really wanted to enter that open door and see what waited for me on the other side. I wanted to know who the scrutinizing gazes belonged to, watching me from the other side of the open door, if the dark and foreboding bottom level. It should be of the dark and foreboding bottom level. Every hair on my
Right.
body stood on end, and every pore seemed to prickle and goose flesh, telling me to stay away. Let's see, I know there's more here. But some of these pictures are repeating themselves too.
Hmm.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
some of the same information is on more than one of the links. I tried to pick it. There was another link I wanted to include too. I couldn't find it in time,
That's all right.
honestly.
That's all right. Yeah,
Have
here's
you talked about the third link yet?
yes,
About the headaches for the
yes.
owner of
Mm-hmm.
the property?
Yes, I have.
Can Given that, can you see how problematic it would be to own a property of this type, especially with the boom in popularity of the paranormal,
Yeah,
and then realizing that, no matter what I do, I'm going to have a hard time keeping these people out of the property
yeah.
because of the damage that they're going to cause.
Mhm.
I think ultimately this is what led to them saying, okay, we're just not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But again, if you watch that episode of Ghost Asylum, you'll see there really isn't much in there worth looking at anyway. I mean, the whole place is literally trashed.
Yeah.
The whole floor is almost covered with junk.
Mhm. There was like there was a picture of a doll. We don't know if it was candle wax or blood on it or.
So there really isn't much to be seen even going there. But if anybody happens to stumble upon this episode and think, hey, I got to go check this place out,
Hmm?
let me just warn you that unlike some of the other properties that we have and will talk about, St. Vincent's, you don't want to, you just don't.
Mm-mm.
St.
It's
Vincent's is off
being
limits, people.
completely off limits. You will be trespassed, you will be arrested, and then you'll have to deal with the repercussions thereof.
Mhm.
Considering the state of the building when they filmed that episode, and mind you, this is probably a good 2 to 4 years old since they filmed it. I think they're on like season 4 now, I think. You have to assume that the condition of the building is deteriorating. Even if by some miracle you could get permission to go in there, you have to remember these abandoned places, especially this one and others like it, are falling apart.
Mhm.
Even if they said, yeah, sure, come in, take a look at it. Bear in mind, the floors can give out,
Yep.
structures can give out. It's not safe, people. It's really
Mhm.
not. Some of the places that we've talked about, like the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum on our Halloween episode a couple of years back,
Mhm.
you know, yes, technically it's an abandoned asylum. However, it is owned and run by people who actively are trying to restore it. It is in much better shape. There are people that will give you permission to come in, even if you have to pay a nominal fee to do it, and you don't have to wander the property wondering if something's going to cave in on you. They make sure they don't.
Mhm.
St. Vincent's is a, for lack of a better word, pigsty. You don't want to go in there.
No.
In a video I saw on YouTube, and I know I don't have a link handy, so you'll have to look for it yourself if you want to see it. Uh, a younger man, probably in his 20s or 30s, and his young son uh, were there, was it last year, I think? They were just around the outside of the building. The bottom level where they were at was filled with mattresses and other junk, tires. It's like a dumping ground for people's garbage.
Mm.
Believe me, you really don't want to go there. But consider the type of place that it's been. Consider Father Dolan and his activities.
Mhm.
Can you blame people for saying it's haunted? Can
Nope.
you blame people for assuming that there's a demonic entity with a grip on this place?
Mm-mm.
So that's pretty much all I had to add on to what I had in link. I said there was another link that has since escaped me, but this is why you should never trespass into these abandoned properties. Whether they're
Agreed.
actively owned and patrolled or whatever, don't.
Mhm.
You don't know what you're dealing with. You definitely need to have permission. And there are places that are run down and abandoned with active owners who, assuming you can come to an agreement, will let you in to do what you want to do as long as you follow their rules. St. Vincent's isn't one of them.
Right.
And from link number 3, you could tell it has had a pretty decent history of problems. Not just because of the owner, but because of what people were doing that the owner didn't know about until after the fact.
Mhm. Okay, now the writer in this thing said, I heard clanging and murmurs erupting from the gaping door around the back. Whether squatters or something supernatural, I wasn't sticking around to find out. I left shortly after that. Good move. Yeah, and of course, here's that last part. Remember, if you head to this property, there is a good chance there could be squatters inside the building. It is privately owned, and they will call the cops, so go at your own risk. And there are also the ghosts, but the live people frighten me more than the ghosts. How about you?
When you think of it that way, it really is something, isn't it? Where
Hmm.
you're more worried about people breaking in and doing things than you are about the ghosts in the building.
Yeah. All right. Well, that ends the first half of this.
Even though we did go over by about 6 minutes,
Yeah, not bad.
and I wasn't sure we could get a full episode out of it. And after the way things happened yesterday with Sally coming in,
Hmm.
I felt it would be better to just condense Secrets of the Unknown down a little bit. And we probably could go into this a little bit more, but I wanted to pick up some of what we lost last night.
Yeah.
So the second half of tonight's show is going to be a somewhat condensed version of what we would have had last night if not for Sally.
Yeah.
And then I think we'll continue that into Monday's episode
Agreed.
as well.
Hmm. So let's just say this. We've already got a couple of stories that are really worthy of the rant rocket. And one of the, let's just say this. One of them has to do with with a Georgia, what is it? A Georgia detention center for immigrants? I think that's what it was. Let me see. There it is. Georgia immigrant hysterectomy. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, and this was a couple days ago. Actually, no, this was yesterday. Never mind. I thought it was a couple days ago. But I'm gonna put this in all the different chats. Oops, try it again. There we go. All right. Oh fudge. See, this is one of the disadvantages of having an ad blocker. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like we won't let you read the ad unless you turn off the ad blocker. So if you see ads, I apologize. All right. So anyway, so this is the story. Oh yeah, hold on. There is one thing I want to do. Go ahead and do the supernova rant rocket.
Yeah, I gotta have that.
All right. So let's see where it is. There it is. All right. Here we go. All right. And like I said, I do apologize for that, but I can't do anything about this now. Alright, so anyway, this is the story. Get out of here, you stupid ad. There. I'll do it like this. Whistleblower alleges high rate of hysterectomies and medical neglect at ICE facility. So, here's what's going on. Out of Washington, D.C., a whistleblower who previously worked at an immigration and customs enforcement facility in Georgia detailed a high rate of hysterectomies and alleged medical neglect in a complaint filed to the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General Monday. Dawn Wooten, a licensed practical nurse employed by the center who is represented by the Government Accountability Project and Project South, stated in a complaint that while some women may have required a hysterectomy, everybody's uterus cannot be that bad. The Government Accountability Project provides representation for whistleblowers, and Project South is a social justice organization. The complaint is also signed by several immigrant advocacy organizations: Georgia Detention Watch, Georgia Latino Alliance for Human Rights, and South Georgia Immigrant Support Network. The complaint, which also includes a series of concerns about the facility's handling of the coronavirus, immediately received responses from Democratic lawmakers. The allegations put forth in this whistleblower complaint point to an alarming pattern of unsafe conditions and a lack of oversight at a privately run ICE privately run ICE facilities, said Representative Benny Thompson of Mississippi, chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, in a statement adding that allegations of hysterectomies being performed on women without consent is incredibly disturbing. Okay, whoops. Get that fixed real quick. There we go. Thompson's committee is investigating on the conditions at ICE contractor facilities. House Speaker, I can't talk. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, of course, she's from California, urged the DHS Inspector General to investigate Wooten's allegations. Everybody he sees has a hysterectomy, just about everybody. He's even taken out the wrong ovary on a young lady, detained immigrant woman. She was supposed to get her left ovary removed because it had a cyst on the left ovary. He took out the right one.
Oof.
Oops.
Yeah. She was upset.
That was one hell of a big oops.
Yeah, she was upset. She had to go back to take out the left and she wound up with a total hysterectomy, Wooten explains in the complaint. She still wanted children, so she has to go back now and tell her husband that she can't bear kids. She said she was not all the way out under anesthesia and heard him, the doctor, tell the nurse that he took the wrong ovary, she continued. The complaint
Oh, too bad that she couldn't sue his ass.
I know. The complaint doesn't disclose the name of the gynecologist or the number of women allegedly coerced into receiving the procedure, nor when it occurred. ICE said it doesn't comment on matters presented to the Inspector General. ICE takes all allegations seriously and defers to the Office of the Inspector General regarding any potential investigation and or results. That said, in general, anonymous, unproven allegations made without any fact-checkable specifics should be treated with the appropriate skepticism they deserve, the agency said. Since 2018, only two individuals at the Irwin County Detention Center have been referred to certified, credentialed medical professionals at gynecological and obstetrical health care facilities for hysterectomies, according to Dr. Ada Rivera, medical director of the ICE Health Service Corps, citing agency data. Based on their evaluations, these specialists recommend hysterectomies. These recommendations were reviewed by the facility clinical authority and approved, Rivera said in a statement. Irwin County Detention Center, the facility at the center of the complaint, is required to follow medical standards put in place by ICE in 2011. The standards state that female detainees shall receive routine, age appropriate gynecological and obstetrical health care consistent with recognized community guidelines for women's health services. According to those standards, healthcare services must be provided by personnel who are licensed, certified, credentialed, and or registered in compliance with applicable state and federal requirements. Healthcare providers are chosen by the facility from among the local community providers willing to accept ICE detainees as patients, an ICE official said, adding that in some cases, the facility provider or clinical director may have community contacts they routinely work with. LaSalle Corrections, which operates the facility, did not respond immediately to CNN's request for comment. Wooten didn't elaborate on the hysterectomy allegations during a news conference in Georgia on Tuesday. Priyanka Bhatt, a staff attorney with Project South, said, however, that over the years our coalition has heard from several women who have either had a hysterectomy done or have talked to other immigrants who have had a hysterectomy done. A detained immigrant told Project South that she had spoken to 5 different women at Irwin County Detention Center between October and December 2019 who had a hysterectomy. When I met all these women who had surgeries, I thought this was like an experimental concentration camp. It was like they were experimenting with our bodies, said the immigrant, whose name was not disclosed by the organization.
Those immigrants were nothing more than fucking guinea pigs.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Leanne Colbreth, co-founder and co-chair of South Georgia Immigrant Support Network, a humanitarian organization, recalled conversations with a handful of detained women over recent years who shared concerns about gynecological care. And I need to grab my water because my mouth is drying out, so give me just a second.
Seconds up.
Oh my.
Seconds up.
Got it.
Oh my.
I'm sorry, but I gotta have water.
Agua. Excuse me. But
Where's Luis when I need him?
it's like they're using these women for human guinea pigs.
Just like the old syphilis experiments.
Yeah. Or how about the experiments with LSD that they did on these poor unsuspecting Air Force guys?
That's true. All right. So anyway, with lowering frequency, we hear about women who've received gynecological procedures. Colbreth said sometimes they were not given an opportunity to give consent for that. The anecdotes in the whistleblower complaint confirm Culbreth's concerns. That affirmed my worst fears about what might be happening here, she told CNN. Wooten described speaking with detained women who didn't fully understand why they had the medical procedure. These immigrant women, I don't think they really totally all the way understand this is what's going to happen depending on who explains it to them, Wooten
Especially
said.
since English is not their first language.
Exactly. The complaint also alleges the facility didn't take necessary precautions to avoid the spread of COVID 19, which ultimately motivated Wooten to come forward. I began to ask questions about why would the detainees not be tested, symptomatic or non-symptomatic, Wooten said. But what broke the back and the last straw was looking in and living it for myself. Coming to work and being told that even though you're being tested, you can report when CDC guidelines says stay home and a doctor's note says stay home. The allegations raised by Wooten are similar to those surfacing around the country from immigrants held at ICE facilities, according to court documents, lawyers, and other whistleblowers. They include treating COVID 19 symptoms with over the counter cold medication, lack of social distancing, and transfers of detainees despite heightened risk of spreading the virus. Wooten, according to the complaint, had pleaded with ICDC warden David Polk in March when the facility had its first COVID 19 case to stop all transfers of individuals in and out of the facility, but the warden did not listen. According to ICE statistics, there have been 43 total confirmed COVID 19 cases at the Irwin County Detention Center. There have been more than 5,799 cases overall nationwide at ICE detention centers. And that's the end of the story.
That's got to tell you something right there.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody ain't fucking listening.
No. And of course, you know who ain't gonna care, so I'm not saying his
Oh,
name and I'm not
you
gonna
know
say
what I
what.
can't figure out about him?
What?
He says, "Oh, I want the wall built. I'm going to make sure all those illegal immigrants go back to Mexico and build our wall." And yet he was here in Phoenix courting the Latino vote.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure that a-hole out.
He's a
Yeah.
hypocrite. That's what it amounts to.
Yep, exactly. And
Okay.
I was totally unaware of this. Apparently, the president had a town hall the other night. I had no clue.
Town hall in Montgomery?
No, it was on ABC on Tuesday night. I don't know where it was.
I don't really want
I didn't
I
care
don't really
either.
care.
I didn't care either
I
because
didn't care either.
I didn't care either because I had that live webinar with LeVar Burton.
Yeah, finding out that motherfucker's his favorite word.
Yep, exactly.
Oh my.
That was one of the funniest things. And
Oh
it,
dear.
yeah, because you see, what happened was Tuesday we didn't have a show because I was going to attend a webinar hosted by Steve Bloom and his son Brandon, and it had special guest LeVar Burton. So
That must have been cool.
it was. And the funny thing is, the way they had the Zoom meeting set up, I was in between LeVar Burton and Steve Bloom.
Oh yes.
It's like, you know
How
what?
much would cost to go to that webinar? I would love to have seen
Well,
Robert.
the truth of the matter is, Janet, it costs an arm and a leg. So what I did was I'm doing 1 month. I need to cancel it before the first, so I don't have to worry about it. But it's like if you want to do it, if you watch this free seminar, you can get it 1 month for like $49.95. But then next after that, it's like $100.
Damn.
It's like no, one
No,
time
thank you.
and stop. You know what I mean?
No, thank you. Yeah.
It's like one time, stop.
That's almost as expensive as what you pay for a good photo at Dragon Con.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but one thing I heard about, there was a woman who had the guts. That what happened was Trump was talking over her, and she said, "Let me finish."
Oh, somebody
Good
set
for
the ass
her.
right in his
Yep.
place, huh?
Yeah, she said,
Good
"Let
for
me."
her.
She said, "Let me finish, sir."
Oh, he actually called him a sir?
Yeah,
Ooh.
Somebody should just wash his mouth out with soap. Man doesn't know how to do anything but lie.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like I said before. Anytime Trump speaks, words don't come out of his mouth, shit does.
yeah.
Exactly.
So, but
that's why 86 45 11 3 2020.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
and I'm sure we
English
will.
translation English translation Flush the Turd November 3rd.
Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't make sense. He'll say one thing on Monday and change his mind and say something else totally opposite on Friday.
Yeah, that's true.
And I believe this was at the town hall. Correct me if I'm wrong. He went on a rant about Joe Biden not issuing a nationwide mask mandate.
Problem is, he
Hello,
doesn't have the power.
dumbass.
He can't do
He doesn't
that.
have the power to do that. You're the president.
Yeah, dummy.
Yeah, Biden all the way.
Mm-hmm. Same with me. I may be a Republican, but I ain't stupid.
Hey, I was born in I was born at night. It just wasn't last night.
Yep.
The good news is, once he's out of office, he's got a long list of charges he's going to be facing.
Yep, you're right.
We hope.
Okay, now you guys know there's at least two people from the Trump administration who left and they're going to be voting for Joe Biden. Well, now there's a third. Her name is Olivia Troye. She was Vice President Pence's lead staffer on COVID 19. She put her heart and soul into the job. After a while, she couldn't look at herself in the mirror because no matter what she did, the president would undermine it and make Americans less safe. She reveals that during a COVID task force meeting, President Trump said, this is in quotes, maybe this COVID thing is a good thing. I don't have to shake hands with these disgusting people.
Oh,
Oh shit.
Oh boy.
you just put your foot in the shit again, didn't you, Mr. Trump?
Yep. Insert foot into mouth.
Yeah, insert foot into mouth after stepping on a nice big gushy pile of cow poop.
Yeah. Yeah, but then let's see. I know we got about 8 minutes, so I will tell you this right now. There is a you probably heard about this by now. There is a big controversy about this new Netflix documentary called Cuties. And no, it's got nothing to do with those tiny little mandarin oranges.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
my.
But what's going on is it's causing people to they want people are canceling Netflix over it because it seemingly promotes child pornography. Except the person the woman behind the movie is against child pornography. So it's like, oh boy. Now me personally, one, I have no interest in cuties, okay? And two, I am not canceling Netflix over one movie.
I wouldn't either.
If I had
Instead of watching
Netflix, I wouldn't
cuties,
either.
Mhm.
instead of watching cuties, find something else good on Netflix.
I did. I watched The Devil All the Time yesterday.
Hey, was that Hulu or Netflix that had Good Omens? I may go back and watch.
Amazon Prime's got it.
Amazon.
Okay, I
And
hope it's still
I
there.
remember that they and Netflix promised to cancel each other's show only if the other one agreed to do the same.
Yeah.
Didn't work, did it?
No,
No,
it was some kind of goofy joke. It was kind of a bad joke that someone had or something.
Oh, I.
And then both companies took advantage of it and had fun with it.
Uh huh.
So, but yeah, I mean, I watched The Devil All the Time yesterday. It's a good movie, but I will tell you this right now. This sure is not family friendly. And then let me put it this way. There's not a lot of violence per se, but when it does get there, it's violent.
It hits the fan, in other
Yeah.
words.
hmm And what's really interesting is the author of the book himself, I believe his name is Donald Ray Pollock. He's the narrator,
So it's done kind of like the way they narrate
like Alfred Hitchcock would do ever so often.
uh huh.
Yeah, I mean, there is plenty of cursing. And like I said, there's not a lot of violence, but when it's time for it, oh, it's there. And I will tell you right now, Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, they had the two most convincing accents I've ever heard.
What were they? English accents?
No, like Midwest, like red, almost redneck, and Robert Pattinson had to play a preacher from Tennessee.
A preacher from Tennessee, huh?
Yeah, and that worked out pretty well.
Uh huh.
And I'll tell you this right now, without giving too much away, people are dying left and right in this movie.
Oh, geez, sounds like something that Samuel L. Jackson would be in. Die, you motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah, but I will give you this right now. It's a great movie. I actually really liked it a lot. Yeah, yes, there was a lot of violence. I'm not used to watching a lot of violence. Was like, well, it is part of the story, so gotta leave it be.
It's not gratuitous. It's
Oh,
not
he
violent for the.
actually, when it does the violent parts, yes, it is.
So it's violence for the sake of violence.
Yeah, it is in this case, but it is actually part of the story too. So, and by the way, there is a little bit of nudity also. So this is
Well,
definitely
that's why they give you an NC-17
well, actually, this was
rating.
R. This was an R rating, but I mean, seriously, this one's not for the kids. Do not let the kids see this one, okay?
I believe it.
Oh my.
But it is a good movie. I mean, when you put Batman, Spider Man, the Winter Soldier, Pennywise, all in the same movie, it's like holy crap. And I do have a bit of a location bias because much of that movie was made in Holtville, Alabama, which is about 22 miles north of me.
Oh, shite.
Yep.
Excuse me.
So that I mean that's pretty damn cool when you get a movie made in Alabama because I had heard about it last year that Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson were supposed to film something here in Alabama. Now I know what it was. Now that I've seen it, I'm good with it. I like it.
Yeah.
But seriously, it is a good movie, but definitely not one for the kids by far.
In other words, you take your fruit bowl and go watch it after 9.
Yeah.
Speaking of fruit bowls, have you seen those
Yes.
commercials? So
Yes.
we use fruit bowls. Can I have a fruit bowl too?
Yeah. It's like we've been eating fruit bowls. We just not been doing fruit bowls.
We're getting fruit bowl.
No, doing fruit bowls because that was their secret language to
Do the deed.
Oh.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. But the
Yeah.
granddaughter said, "Can I have a fruit bowl too?" And the grandma says, "We've been eating a lot of fruit bowls. We're just not having a lot of fruit bowls." So that's the story on that.
Yeah. They got to think of original ways to. Anyway,
hmm
what can I say?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm happy to say Sally is gone. I was out of power from like 5 to 11 last night. Like I said, I was so dead to the world asleep, I had no clue it even came back on. So, but I mean, seriously, it takes, you know, I mean, I'm glad the one big thing I am so glad for when we lost the power, it was only 70 degrees. It wasn't hot. So it's like, oh, thank goodness. Of course, mom missed her wrestling, but
Oh, karma didn't help.
no. And what's really strange is I gotta contact Spectrum because my home channel, it says I'm not connected to the home internet. Yes, I am, but I can't not get the local channels. I couldn't even see the prices right at all today.
So you could tell me who cheated, huh? Who
Nope.
won? No, they're doing the Dream Car Week.
Yeah, I know. I think that's like the last. It's like these are all reruns. The next week is everything starts anew. So all right. So
Yes, kill
anyway,
my claws, Shirley. In cat life.
Ah,
all
you
right.
heard Lulu, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes,
All right.
that was Lulu.
All right. Well, anyway, we're gonna wrap things up for tonight. Tomorrow will be, of course, our nearly naughty Mad Libs. Yay! We needed to end the week anyway. After how
Yes,
crazy
we
it's
do.
been. After how crazy this week has been. Damn you, Sally. Seriously, damn you, Sally. But anyway, we need to laugh it up tomorrow night. So it's gonna be Mad Libs. We're just gonna go for it. Screw everything else, right?
Right.
Right.
All right. So anyway, I'm just gonna wrap this up by saying love, peace, and chicken grease. Everybody have a great night. Sleep well. Stay safe. And if you made it through Sally, congratulations. You've made it past this part. We still have 2.5 months left on the hurricane season.
You could have gone the rest of the night without hearing that.
Well, I mean, hey, if that's the price we pay in the South, we gotta keep being prepared. So with that in mind, I'm gonna say love, peace, and chicken grease. Everyone have a great night, and I'll put this ending first.
Okay.
All right, that is all for tonight. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Night, everybody.
Good night,
Uh,
everyone.
Take care, everybody.